Hi there! Welcome to Craft with Kathie. Finally, tonight's project is the pillowcases, are the pillowcases from Let's Cuddle. And the Let's Cuddle kit comes with candy apple, Shimmer Gold, and black velvet ink. Now I already have these actually in the jars. Remember, the jars with ink always have the white lid. So don't mix them up with the paste with the black lid. And then 3 color trays and a little squeegee. But being that I already have the jars of ink open, I'm not going to use these. I'm going to move them out of the way. I'm coming at you from the suburbs west of Chicago. Hope everybody's staying nice and toasty warm. We're at a big old 6 degrees right now, but it's better than in the minuses. What could I say, right? So I already have an ink mat inside my pillowcase, and I've pressed it down, and I'm all ready to get inking. If you're new to ink, it's easy. It's just like paste. The only thing, oops, new jar of ink. I didn't realize it. The only thing is, you need to be very careful with your fingers. And you do not want to get ink on your fingers because you don't want to accidentally get it on your project. I normally have a little waste paper basket here, and I didn't. And of course, look at what I already did. So you need to check your fingers periodically because the last thing you want to do is smudge and get an ink smudge on your surface. So, okay, I guess I'm good to go here, right? So, there's 2 pillowcases. There's 2 pillowcases in the kit. They're 17 1/4 by 17 1/4. And I'm going to do, the first one is going to be bunches of love. So I'm taking my transfer right off the backer sheet. I've already used almost all of these on other projects, and I've been saving this one for the last. Just wanted to let you see how you can use them different ways. I could see my mat through the surface, so I'm going to make sure that I have it on the mat. And I'm actually putting this above the little notebook lines a little bit so that it's not, well, obviously I've got one line going right through the center of the wording. I don't know if I want to move that down just a little bit. I think I do. Maybe move it down one whole line. No. Maybe just a little bit. It's a little bit more centered. I have not fuzzed these transfers for tonight's project because I'm actually putting them on fabric, so there's no need to fuzz them. And I'm going to put everything on here before I actually start, just to make sure that I have everything positioned the way that I want it to before I get moving. And I'm pretty much going along the lines of the sample. These cute little cherries. So I am going to use my mind just blanked on the black velvet, hello, couldn't think, and the Shimmer Gold and the candy apple red. I'm going to go Shimmer Gold for the Of Love, black velvet for the bunches, and then the candy apple red for the cherries. So let me get started with this. Just want to make sure no ink on my fingers. or on my hand as it may be. So that's one thing you have to keep checking for. And just take your time. You don't have to hurry as much as with chalk, because ink doesn't dry as quick. I'm going to use some of my pastement. Look at, I've actually got ink on my fingernail and didn't realize it. That's dangerous. So don't be in as much of a hurry as I am. Take the time to check your fingers really closely. I probably smeared it on my finger when I took the ink off the other part of my hand. Okay, so I'm going to use some of our placement tape to put at the edge or the bottom of this transfer so that I don't accidentally go off of it and onto the actual pillowcase itself, because I'm going to be getting kind of close to the bottom, and I pull the ink or the paste generally towards me, so this will give me a little bit of extra space so I don't have to worry about it coming off the edge or me missing and going off the edge. So just relax and take your time with the ink. And I usually go over it a few times just to give it a chance for the ink to be absorbed into the fabric. Our ink needs to be heat set if you're not familiar with inking, and you could heat set it with an iron or with a heat press. Heat press is a little bit quicker, but really, unless you're doing a lot of it, there's no need to have a heat press. You use parchment paper as a barrier between the iron or the heat press and the surface. And with an iron, you set it for the temperature of the fabric, and then you just keep the iron moving and you iron it for 4 minutes. Flip it over and do the same thing on the reverse. Heat press is usually basically set it at the temperature, and it's 30 seconds. I usually, what do I usually do with the heat press? Oh, I usually move it too. I usually don't keep it in one area. I've got something underneath there. I might have had a piece of fuzz or something on the back of the transfer, so I felt a little bumpy. Hopefully it'll be okay. If not, I might have to touch it up with a paintbrush or something like that. And I want to be careful that I'm not dripping any ink here either. It's a little bit looser or softer consistency than our paste. Our chalk paste is made from chalk, and it's a totally different thing from chalk paint. You do not want to use chalk paint with our transfers because it'll bleed through. It's too thin, and it'll bleed through the, it'll go through the silk screen, but it'll bleed. And I just went off the edge and onto my surface. Exactly what I didn't want to do, right? I've got a little smear there. I'm going to have to cover that up, probably with a cherry would be my guess. Okay, let me grab my gold shimmer. I'm going to just let that sit for a moment. Finger check. I'm making pillowcases, Deb. I have a little bit more of a border at the bottom of the of love, so I'm not putting the placement tape at the bottom. I think I should be able to control this. I might just put a heart there instead of a cherry. Might just be easier to put a small little heart. We'll see. Sometimes if you make a little oops, it's got you turn it into a happy accident, like Bob Ross would say. Put a little personalization on something to cover up your oops. A lot of times it turns out a lot nicer than you were intending. Hence, happy accident, right? I must have grabbed a new jar of red. I'm going to just go with it and open it up and use it. Yes, the word bunches is distress, Deb. Cleaning up my fingers a little bit. Let me make sure this is pressed down. Now this is very close to the bottom. The cherry is on this one. So I am going to use another piece of placement tape. And you could reuse it. I could lift it up. Well, I don't know if I'd want to lift it off the bunches because obviously I hit it with ink. But right down here at the edge, it's a little close. So I'm going to throw this down here just to protect it, to make sure I don't go off the surface. And I suppose I could do the stem in green, the stem and the leaf in green, but I'm just going to go with the red. Like I said, I usually go over it a couple times with the ink, just making sure I'm giving the fabric enough time to absorb the ink. And quite a lot of our transfers are distressed. It really, the distressed look, if you do make a little mistake, it hides it pretty well. So even if you're not particularly into distress, it could help you out. Be careful if you need to turn your squeegee around like I just did. You don't want to drop and fumble it onto the surface. I've done that before, but been fortunate enough that it actually stayed over the transfer, so I didn't have any issues. Okay, so finger check, and I'm going to lift these up. I'm going to slowly pick up this piece of placement tape along with the transfer. Well, that sure makes a bold statement, doesn't it? Just checking my fingers again. And this is the time you want to lift slowly, because if you did miss something or it's a little light, you can go back over it and adjust it before you totally pick up the transfer. If you don't catch it and you see it later, after you've washed your transfer, just lay it back down, washed it and dried it, just lay it back down, position it, and ink it again. Pretty much the same thing you do if you were chalking. Isn't that sweet? Now I do have this little oops here with the black ink. Let me see if I can find a heart in here that I want to use. I just need a little heart. This little kit, and right there, so I make sure I have it totally covered. Grab a little bit of ink again and just go over this to hide my little oops there. Finger check. No one would ever know. Okay, so I am going to put this aside to dry. And I could hit it with my drying tool, but I'm not gonna bother doing that. Make sure my fingers are clean. And put it aside to dry. And once it's dry, then I will heat set it. Let me get my ink mat into the other pillowcase. The kit does come with 2 pillowcases. Sorry, I've got a runaway paper towel roll here that I just knocked over and then knocked it over again. I did have it in a holder for a bit. Okay. So let me get this ink mat into the pillowcase. Isn't that the cutest pillow though? And isn't it just perfect for Valentine's? Thank you, Deb. Yeah, I think it looks pretty nice too. It really is so very easy. I love inking. With chalk paste, you have to be a little bit quicker sometimes or do the paste and peel method just because, you know, the chalk will dry. The chalk paste will dry. Ink gives you a little luxury of being a little bit more relaxed. Let me get my mat a little bit straightened out here. And I feel like I have a little bump of fuzz or something down here. There we go. So on this one, I'm going to do the Let's Cuddle. The wording for Let's Cuddle, which is the name of the kit, by the way. And I've already used this. Didn't I already use it on the sign? Maybe I didn't. I'm thinking of the Sweet Dreams. Okay. Let's see how I want to position this. I think I'm fine. Okay. And with this, I'm going to add the hearts. And like I said, there's a couple different sizes of hearts. Sorry, just got my fingers caught on things. And I'm going to add the XOXO on it also. Just getting the whole transfer settled down there. It's a little bit unwieldy. I want to put this there or not. Maybe right here. What do you think? I think I'm okay border wise. I'm going to do the Let's in black and the Cuddle in the Shimmer Gold. I am a little close to the lettering in Cuddle, so I want to be a little careful here. which is why I'm going away from me instead of towards me. I am going to put a piece of placement tape down here. Just see where I could get myself in trouble with the edge of the D. Just a little bit too close for comfort there. Now I could of course switch and use like a detailed tool or a multi-tool, but being that I have the placement tape out, might as well just go with it. I'm going to make sure I get the top of that L without going off of the transfer, sorry. My dog is up and looking for a little attention right now, which she hasn't been feeling well, so hopefully she's feeling a little bit better. Now I'm going to have to move this placement tape before I actually chalk the word Cuddle. Finger check, I almost forgot. Having a little bit of a hard time lifting it off. It's stuck pretty snugly to the transfer. There we go. And I'm going to lift this slowly because I don't want it to splatter or anything. And then throw that out. I'm using the mini squeegee with the word Cuddle, so I'll have a little bit more control with a smaller squeegee. Which is probably why I use the mini most of the time. Isn't that funny? Make sure if you're holding your ink over your surface, you don't drop it. I usually leave it set on the table. So probably not my wisest move, but I also don't want to drip ink onto my surface. And being that I just took a great big scoop of it, I want to be careful with it. So what's the temp and how are the weather conditions by you? Here we're at 6 degrees and I know we're going to be heading into the deep freeze shortly, but we didn't get really too much more additional snow today. So all in all, some of the forecasts were pretty wild compared to what we got. I'm not complaining, I'm grateful. I know different areas got really, really hit hard. Scooping some of the extra ink up here. Yes, and just like with chalking, if you have excess ink, put it back in the jar. No sense in wasting it. Now, obviously, if you bump your squeegee like I'm getting close to doing to the black velvet paste, I don't want to take my squeegee and put it back in the jar, either to scoop up more ink or to put the excess ink in if I have another color of ink on it, because then I would contaminate the color. I mean, sometimes it happens. If it happens, scoop it out with a little stir stick. Don't try mixing it in if you can avoid it at all. Deb, off the top of my head, I don't remember how much the mat is, but we have an amazing thing going on right now with the perks packs. If you sign up as a designer, you can get either an ink perks pack or a chalk perks pack for $59, and the retail value is around $76. And then you get a $50 credit for any other supplies that you want to buy. So it's a pretty good deal. And I know that the ink perks pack does have the 17 or the 18 by 11 inch ink mat in it, along with a bunch of other tools and things. They're both really, really cool deals. The ink mat makes it much easier to ink, I have to admit. Okay, I'm putting that gold shimmer back into my jar. Clean my fingers again. And now it's time for the hearts. Where did I leave my little squeegee? Here we go. Maybe I'll do the XOXO. I'm right here, right? There, almost missed the bottom of that O, but I think I've got it all. The XOXO is distressed a little bit too, so kind of watch that. Let's see, let's get these hearts. Now, isn't this cool? Look at how quick and easy inking can be. Just take your time. I love the idea of doing clothing, like t-shirts, and then grabbing a piece of a transfer or an image and doing like a little bit at the bottom of or the hem of a pair of jeans, or down the side of jeans to coordinate with the shirt. I think that is such a cool idea. Great for youngsters, right? Or adding a little bit of a design on the shirt sleeve of a tee. Okay, let me get this out of the way, do a quick little finger check, make sure I don't have ink on everything, and then basically this will be wrapped up. The perks pack is a kit of sorts. You know, it's just been so craziness here with Mags being sick that I wanted to post some things about it and I haven't, and I feel neglectful in that. Let me get actually what's in there, Deb. Okay, the Paste Kickstarter Perks Pack, try to say that real quick, comes with a fuzzing towel, 2 board erasers, a 3-ounce jar of black velvet, a 3-ounce jar of bright white, transfer trimmers, a multi-tool, a detail tool, a board scraper, a mini squeegee, and the monthly Club Couture. The ink Kickstarter has the 18 by 11 inch ink mat, a fuzzing cloth, a jar of 3-ounce jar of black velvet ink, a 3-ounce jar of bright white ink, transfer trimmers, mini squeegee, and a multi-tool, and then the monthly Club Couture also. So they're really pretty cool kits. I'm going to lift this up slowly and check it out. That turned out really nice, if I have to say so myself. Just want to make sure I don't have any ink as I lift these up. And somewhere around here I have pillow inserts that I have to look for. I don't know where I put them, but they're here. I like the idea of changing out pillowcases because in reality I don't have room for that many pillows to have inserts for all of them. So it's a great way of swapping things out as the seasons and the holidays change. So what do you think? I'm not going to move this and bring the other one out because the other one's still wet. But simple, quick, and easy, right? The Creative Kickstart Perks packs are $59 and come with a $50 credit. I'll give you a call and talk to you a little bit more about it. I need to fix the lid of my jar there. I just garbled it up and ended up with ink all over my finger. So let me clean that up. Everybody stay safe and warm. If you don't have to go out, if the weather is kind of crummy by you, stay in, hunker down, stay safe and warm, be careful. Here's the information about the Creative Kickstart Perks packs. Both the ink and the chalk paste kits have a retail value of $159.99. The ink kit comes with a 3-ounce jar of black velvet ink, a 3-ounce jar of bright white ink, a fuzzing cloth, an ink mat, the 11-inch by the 23-inch, a small squeegee, a multi-tool, the transfer trimmers, the current month Club Couture for $19.99, and a $50 credit at designer discount. And the Perks packs are only $59. So basically, you'd be getting 100 plus for free. How cool is that? Now, the chalk paste Creative Kickstart kit comes with a 3-ounce jar of black velvet chalk paste, a 3-ounce jar of bright white chalk paste, a fuzzing cloth, small squeegee, multi-tool, detail tool, paste scraper, transfer trimmers, a 2-pack of board erasers, the current month Club Couture end, its corresponding surface, and a $50 credit at designer discount. So either one of these are great. If you want to tip your toe in the water and check it out, go for it. Comment team, and I'll send you a link to a video that gives you even more deets. No obligation whatsoever. Thanks for watching. See you soon.